My name is Nadia Claiborne, and I'm going to be Jacob's math teacher this year. So I was just looking at Jacob's test scores and wanted to share with you what I think we really need to focus on moving forward. So Jacob really showed some great strengths in geometry and measurement and data and probability. So I feel like for those categories, he's doing well. What I would like to focus on, if you'll notice here where it shows algebraic reasoning and algebra, that is the area that Jacob has the most opportunity for growth. So that's where I would like to start and where I would like to focus on with Jacob moving forward. And then next is number and operations. So there is some room for growth there, but the main one that we really want to focus on is going to be algebraic reasoning and algebra. So what does that mean exactly? Let's take a look at those standards. So here are the Oklahoma Academic Standards for Grade 5 Math. And again, this is where Jacob is showing that real opportunity for growth. So this is where I want to focus. Specifically, I think it's important that we start here. Understand and interpret expressions, equations, and inequalities involving variables and whole numbers, and to use them to represent and evaluate real-world and mathematical problems. So I know that's a lot of words, a lot of verbiage there, but basically just know this is where we're going to start, and then we're going to just build on this. And this category is actually broken down into 3. And so I'm going to start here with Jacob when we meet next week at the library. So generate equivalent numerical expressions and solve problems involving whole numbers and applying the commutative, associative, and distributive properties using the order of operations. So here's the lesson that I have planned for Jacob. If you see any room for improvements in this, feel free to reach out, or if you have any areas of concern, just let me know. So here again is that standard that we are going to cover. And my objective for Jacob is that he will be able to identify, solve, and create expressions that use the commutative, associative, and distributive properties while following the order of operations. There's a lot that goes into that, so I expect this lesson to take, give or take an hour, just depending on how things go. I'm going to bring with me to the library some whiteboards for he and I to use to work one-on-one, some dry erase markers, some erasers, and I'm going to start by using these and demonstrating what these different properties mean. So we'll just start with commutative and work our way down, and I skipped what we're going to do first. So I plan to email Jacob later this afternoon this YouTube video, and it's just a real catchy tune, and it's reviewing the order of operations, which really come into play when we start working on these different properties. So he and I will review that and talk a little bit about following those order of operations just for a few minutes before we get into the direct instruction part. And so for that direct instruction, it's just going to be a back and forth between he and I. So I will introduce the different properties, demonstrate them on the whiteboard, and have him demonstrate that he understands, and then we'll erase our whiteboards and we'll move on to the next property. I expect that to take around 30 minutes, 30 to 40. And then after we went through this, I'm going to kind of formatively assess how he's doing throughout the lesson, just do little checks. And if he's doing okay, then we will move on. Once he gets it, we will move on to the last part, which is he'll get some independent practice. Of course, I'll still be there to provide that additional support, but he's going to work independently on a multiple choice worksheet, just using that vocabulary. And this here is a glimpse of what that will look like. So just some basic question and answering, where do we see the associative property of addition, using the distributive property, etc. So he'll have multiple choice on that one. And then I want him to, on his own, create 5 questions, and I want to see at least each property used one time. All right, so that is my plan for Jacob. Let me know if you need anything or how I can help. All right, see you guys next week.